Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, y'all. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Coach Ken Live. Hey, I am Coach Ken, aka the doctor, aka the professor. I know you can't hear. Now you should be able to hear me now. I hate that YouTube and Facebook can't hear my music. Like I always set the stage for what we're gonna do now, for what we're going to do tonight on this Friday evening. And thank you so much. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, the professor, aka Coach Ken, the doctor too. But like I always tell my people, I don't call myself a doctor because I have a PhD or an MD. I am educated, but I am not that educated. I just call myself the doctor because people come to me when they are in pain and I help get them out of pain. And I am very good at it, y'all. I'm very good at it. Now, tonight, we're going to talk about, but I'm going to recognize everybody. I want you to give me, I don't know what y'all doing tonight on a Friday evening. I got a little time. And what we're going to do is we just going to chat. We're going to talk. This whole week, we've been talking. And so, we're going to talk tonight. Tonight's topic is how to get him or her, but primarily him because most women, to see your value in a relationship. So I get all the time, I get people who say the dating pool is full of urine. All right. And I think what's happened is a lot of times when we don't get the result that we want, we make an assessment about the whole thing. And we are simply an isolated piece in a bigger whole. And so whether you are married, in a relationship, dating, wanting to find a relationship, the only way you will have the relationship you want is if he or she values you. So tonight we're going to talk about how do you get him to value you, or if you're a he, to value you. All right. Either way, because what I do is not gender specific. Now, I will talk to a specific gender from time to time. But but my principles, I operate on principles, y'all. And the principles, I always tell people, you ain't got to trust me, trust the process. Because I know how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But it's a process. It is a process. Look, many of you have children. And if your child tells you at age 10 that they want to go to college and be a doctor, or they may want to be, but they may want to be a content creator like Coach Ken, you know, and it's something to aspire to. um, but you would tell them, go through the process, learn, go through the grades, get everything you're going to need to be great with that. All right. And in a minute, we're going to talk about that. We're going to begin on that. But I just wanted to tease you a little bit because I want you to stay around and hang around and, tell if you got friends, family. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do that, I'd like for you to tell me your name and where you are checking in from, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me tonight. So I want to know your name, first name, and where you're checking in from. All right? Where you checking in from? Or anybody will do, everybody will do. So what I want to know is so I can properly acknowledge you. We got Monique from California. Monique, what part of California? Pandora Pink from my house. Now, what state is that, Pandora? She said, I'm a couple of miles. Cassandra from Fayetteville, North Carolina. All right. We got another Cassandra from Atlanta. We got Rapture 30 from San Francisco. I don't know your name. Jana, or Yana, I'm not sure. But from Miami, we got Kay from the Atlanta, Georgia. Diane from Delaware in the building. We've got Sharia from Detroit, Michigan in the building. Chantel from Dallas, Texas in the building. We got Letitia from California, Los Angeles, California. Hey, Letitia. Hey, that's my student, y'all. Letitia, I'm going to check in with you so next week we do our thing. Monique from San Francisco. We got Daddy from Hungary. Thank you for joining us, Daddy. We appreciate you. We got Beautifully Flawed from Virginia. I love that, Beautifully Flawed. Oh, I love that. That's amazing. We got T Diamond from A Ribbon in the Sky. I don't know what that is, T. Tell me what a ribbon in the sky. Oh, Jana like Anna, or Anna, Jana like Anna. It can be Anna or Anna. All right, Jana or Jana like Anna. All right. Jana like Anna. I get it. Either one, I get it. Fuck from Wisconsin in the building. We got Marcus from Virginia. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate y'all joining me on this Friday night. Hey, I got my girl Callie Max. All right, Heidi in the building. Good to see you, Heidi. All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about how you get him to value you. So today I was talking to a client, okay? And my client said something that made me want to do this live tonight. I was going to do the live, all right. And what she said was, she said that the guy she was dating does not value her. And so when she said it, I said, why do you say this? She says, because he does not like the things that I like. I said, okay. So like I said, give me an example. She said, I like Mexican, he likes seafood, and he's not willing to do Mexican. Okay. I said, that doesn't mean he doesn't value you. It simply means he doesn't value Mexican food. And so I began thinking about it, and I began contemplating this thing. And I said, how do you get somebody to see your value? Because do you know this? I got to start this off with this. And so this is where people get it twisted. Do you know that I can create an image of you an image of me in your head. I can create an image of me in your head. Now, you might not like me. I didn't say you had to like me, but I can create an image that you understand my value by what? By simply what I do. Now, what I said. Now, see, what we're conflating many times, we're conflating a person liking us with knowing our value. I'll give you an example. My personal coaching, my personal coaching is expensive. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It's expensive. And everybody that values the knowledge that I get, that values my teaching, that values the work that I do, cannot or will not pay the make the investment to do coaching with me. Okay. Now they may value what I do, but they may not value me enough to want to exchange their value for it, their money for it. They may not want to. And so I don't get upset when they don't. Well, there are a lot of people who reach out, want me to coach them. When they realize what the requirements are, they make a decision, and sometimes they decide that that is too much to invest. I'm going somewhere, y'all. I'm going somewhere. And so, but what I don't do is I don't go down on my price. I don't go down on my price. I almost never have said, now I will have a lower ticket price for my classes, like the one that I'm doing now, that's $10 a week. I will do that, but because that's a group environment and I can teach and get more people there. But I don't go down on my price. Now some people have said, well, dog, you cost too much. I said, well, I don't cost too much for the people whose relationship, marriage that are saved. I don't cost too much for the person that I help find their life partner. I don't cost too much for the people who were on the brink of ending it all and decided they had something to live for. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, value is subjective. I'll give you an example. I want to give you, I want to start there. And so let's talk about this. So a lot of times you are in a relationship with somebody or want to be in a relationship and they don't see your value. Okay. And so what I want to teach y'all tonight, get your pens, get your pads, get your papers. Some of what I'm going to teach you tonight, you ain't going to like it, but some of it is going to liberate many of you all. Okay. So I wanted to start this by saying this. That if I own a Ferrari, okay, and I let my 17-year-old son use it, and he dogs the Ferrari, he misuses it. He does not treat it with care. It's a $300,000 to $400,000 car. I don't have a Ferrari, y'all. Just an example. Just an example. I don't have a Ferrari. I, But does the Ferrari lose its value because my 16-year-old son doesn't know the value of the Ferrari? No. The Ferrari maintains its value. It's just that he is unaware of it. And because he's unaware of it, he behaves in a certain way. Okay? And the Ferrari itself will not lose its value because he doesn't understand the value. We just start. And so today, when I begin to talk to my client and I begin to tell her some things, and this is how we're going to start. I said, you want him to value you. First off, we got to do this. Stop looking at things and things comparing the things to you. Like, for instance, if he don't like Chinese food, that doesn't mean that he doesn't value you. It simply means that he doesn't value Chinese food. Okay? Let's stop comparing things that are not equal. Okay? And what we do is we make judgments about things that are not related. And what we do is we use them to make an assessment. So the first thing I told her, so been teaching her how to date, right? And she done had a lot of dating. And I tell her, I go through the dating process with her. And I tell her that everybody you date is not going to be your person. And I don't want you to look at it like that. And I begin to explain to her, I teach her that dating is about collecting data. And I explained to her that every person that you go out with them not with the intention to connect with them. You go out with them with the intention to learn something about yourself. What? I said, yeah, you go out with them with the intention to learn something about yourself. Because most people who date don't know what they want. Relationships, dating reveal more about you than they do about the other person. And most of us, we think that I'm dating to find the one, the person. And I say, nope, you're dating to find you. And then when you know who you are completely, what you want, what you don't, a lot of us think we do want some, we don't want some. But the truth is, if you never, a lot of times dating is what dating does, it helps you to realize, I don't want that, or I like that. And you don't know it, you think you know it until you get in it. Well, anyway, so the first thing I told her was that. And so then, let me get deep. I said, now the second thing is you got to get the other person to see your value. Okay, the other person to see your value. So let me start like this. Some of you are like a $300,000 home. Now watch this. You ever watch, like my wife watched like HGTV and all of that. And sometimes you ever notice how when they walk in on these shows and you see the house, but the house is not completely restored. The house is not in its optimal condition. The house needs work. That is you. You see, when they bought it for 300,000, what they saw was $1 million property. What they saw was if I did the work on it, the property would be worth $1 million. The property, if I fixed the roof, if I renovated the inside, if I put new floors in, and when I was finished doing the work on the house itself would be worth $1 million. And so what happens is many of us are attempting to attract $1 million buyer at the $300,000 where we are. We $300,000 because we haven't done the work on ourselves. We haven't worked on our communication. We haven't worked on our conflict resolution. We haven't worked on how we ask questions to get deeper. We haven't worked on any of it, but we want $1 million buyer because many people I coach have this big list. This list of stuff that they want. And when I tell her, like I told her today, well, I said, if you want that kind of man, you got to do that kind of work on yourself so that you can attract that kind of person. And so she was like, huh? And I said, yeah, see, what it is when they go in and get the house. I'm going to show you how to be valuable. When they go in and get the house, when they go in and look at the house, and then they look at the house, because many of you say you don't even want a man who's a 300,000. You want the $1 million man, but you don't look at him. You don't look at him and see $1 million house. What you see is a $200,000 fixer-upper, and what you say is, I ain't fixing up shit. I ain't gonna build a bear. I ain't gonna do any of that. But yet you are the $300,000 house, and you want somebody to buy you at $1 million. Um, wait a minute. Hold on. I just saw a comment, and I got to comment on this. Symmetria says men are cultivators. They are supposed to do the work, just like Adam when he did in the garden. Wait a minute. So you're saying women are not supposed to do the work? That I don't understand that. So please, the way I see it, from where I sit, everybody's got to do the work. Everybody got to do the work. And so let me show you how to make yourself more valuable in the eyes of a man or a woman. In the eyes of a man or a woman. See, this is the thing. I want you to think of yourself as a $300,000 house, and everything that you do, everything that you do better, everything that you work on, everything that you work on takes the value of, now you're at 400,000. When you work on your communication skills, now you're not aggressive. Now you know how to speak to a man in a way that he can receive it. And now you're not arguing about every damn thing. Now you understand how to resolve conflict because Coach Ken has taught you. Because you say, I'm going to invest like anybody that buys a house, y'all. That's 300,000. They know they have to invest in the property to take it to the million. They might have to invest 200,000, which takes the cost up to 500,000 to find $1 million buyer. And a lot of us are unwilling to invest in ourselves. A lot of us are unwilling to invest in the things that we need to be better at. A lot of us are not willing to do the work to make ourselves more valuable. I want to tell you this right here, y'all. I want to tell y'all something. Every single person, like I do lives, all right, in my business. My business has grown tremendously over the last 3 years. And I remember, y'all, when I paid my first $10,000 for a coach. Ouch. I remember it when I paid my first. Notice I said my first. And I thought to myself, why in the world would I pay $10,000 for a coach to coach me for 6 months? And I thought to myself, as I was doing, I said, but then I began focusing on something different. Instead of focusing on the cost, I began focusing on, I changed the framework in my mind. And I said, it is not a cost. This is an investment that is going to reap a return. I always say ROI, return on investment. Now, that first $10,000, I'm not going to go into how much my company has made, but I have hired 4 coaches since then. And I'm going to tell y'all something. And every time I get better, every time my company gets better, I got a great team. I got a great team, y'all. A great team. I got my operations director. I got my social media manager. I got my production, and my wife is on my team as talent, and she's helping our production company grow. And you know what I realized? And I realized what I used to think was a lot. I changed my framework because now I realized my value. So number one, let me give you the ways to increase your value. Number one is focus on changing, reframing how you see yourself. You got to focus on changing and reframing how you see yourself. And so a lot of us are hanging around people, men and women. This ain't a gender message. Men and women are hanging around people who do not require us to grow, who do not empower us to grow, who do not expect us to grow. And so we never work on personal growth. And so what many of you do, you have this idea in your mind of who you want to be. You have this idea in your mind of who you think you can be. And then when it comes to doing the work, you begin telling yourself a story. And so here's how the story goes. You tell yourself a story. And the first part of the story is you say, hey, End up in nothing but urine in the dating pool. Ain't nobody out there. That's a story. But that's a lie. That's something, a story is something we tell ourselves to justify our current situation. A story is something we tell ourselves so that we will be okay with where we are in life. A story is what we tell ourselves to so that if I don't do another thing, I have a justification why I'm not doing it. And so the first thing is you got to change your mindset and get around people who think like you want to think. That is why I hired the coaches, y'all. They were where I wanted to be, so their thought process was different than mine. What I thought was a lot was not a lot. Y'all, there are people out there that are in my industry. There are people in my industry who pay $100,000 for a coach. And I'm like, I'm not there yet. I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't there yet. But I thought to myself, I gotta believe like that if I wanna get that. And I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it now. There are some of you who you are listening to people who don't have what you have, they have the mindset of lack of a relationship, lack of a good partner. They have the mindset of lack, and what they do is they feed you that. And you listen to their videos all day, every day, and you perpetuate the very thing that you say you don't want, but you keep perpetuating it. You keep doing it. You keep listening to it all day, every day. And so, thus, and what you keep doing, attracting the same kinds of people, the same kinds of situations, because you haven't changed your mindset. You haven't changed your energy. The second thing is, as I said before, is you got to be willing to invest in yourself. Here's the thing, y'all. You got to get the knowledge. If there is something I want to do with my business to grow, if I don't go out and get the knowledge is out there. There are people out there who can teach you how to date. You think ain't nobody else out there to date. That's not true. There is somebody to date. You just, when you meet them, your communication is so terrible. It's so horrible. And what you do is you jump ship every time you see a red flag because you don't know how to go through the dating process because you ain't never been taught. And then the people you listen to are your friends and family who don't have a good relationship. And they tell you, girl, if it was me, I'd have cut him loose. And then somebody says, hey, I got a video of somebody who ain't dogging men, ain't dogging women, they telling everybody to level up. It's Coach Ken. Then you like, I ain't gonna call him, because he costs too much. And then I offer a $10 class that teaches you how to date. A $10 a week class, and you know what you say? You say, ain't nothing but urine out there because your programs, your subconscious programming is messed up, but you don't want to change it. You don't want to change it. So no matter what the price is, if it was $1, you wouldn't do it. The reason being is because you have decided, you told yourself a story that at the end of the day, I ain't gonna find nobody. How many of you told her? You said that. I ain't gonna find nobody. And the reason you tell yourself that is because then at that point, once your brain, your subconscious mind begins to accept you make it okay for you to not define somebody. So one of my clients, I'm gonna tell you something. No, I ain't gonna mention that yet. I'm gonna mention this as a testimonial later in the year. It was something that we did. We did something radical. And y'all, God is in this. God is with me. Listen, y'all. I, I'm nothing special. I mean, in God's eyes, we all equal. I'm just the guy that decided to do the work. I'm just the guy that said, God said, I'm calling you because you are not a perfect man, but I will perfect you. I will take a man who was a man of no integrity years ago, and I will turn him into a great husband. I will turn him into a great father. I will turn him into a great grandfather. I will perfect him with my spirit. But then I had to be willing to do the work. I had to be willing to do the work. That what increased my God already said I was valuable. But to man, I had to do the work so that you would see the value. Because if I didn't do the work, you would never tune in. I got 1.3 million followers. I know, I understand what this is. I would get more clicks. I would get more people on my lives if I was bashing women. I get a ton of men. Or if I was bashing men, I'd have 500 people on my live. I know that. I know that. But I refuse. I refuse to live that way. I refuse. And I've decided that I'm going to be a light in this darkness. And so for those of you, I'm gonna end right here. And I just wanted to do this because for those of you who are literally ready, you ready to do something different, to invest in yourself, to become that $1 million house that will attract $1 million buyer. First thing you got to do is you got to learn how to communicate. That's Communication is at the heart of everything. I've got a lot of people who join my class. I wrote a book called Just Ask: How the Right Questions Will Reveal the Right Partner. It's for men and women. I teach people how to connect deeper if you're in a relationship. If you're dating, I teach you how to ask questions. I teach you through a process called subconscious communication. Yo, and what I did, my staff thought I was crazy. I said, I'm going to sell it and offer it for $10 a week. We meet Sunday nights at 8:30 in my academy. And I said, for $10 a week, I will teach people that. Because if a person would not pay $10 a week, then they wouldn't pay $1 a week because they don't believe they're worthy of being invested in. They don't believe it. And so I have to leave them. One day they will. And one day they will. But until then, I get it. And so for those of you who are interested, here's what I want you to do. If you're on TikTok, Facebook, if you're on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, all I want you to do is go up to my bio, click on my link tree, go to my bio, click on my link tree, and you'll see the Just Ask Masterclass. Just ask how the right questions can reveal the right partner. I teach people how to connect deeper. It's a process. And with those of you, I think yesterday we had 4 people to join. I don't care how many people join. I really don't care. If you're on YouTube, let me see if I can get you the link. I'm gonna get you the link if you're on YouTube. All right. So on YouTube, I'm gonna put the link right here. For those of you who want to join, because most people are not gonna join, I get it. I'm okay with that. But for those of you who want to join, the masterclass is 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks. And I'm going to teach for 8 weeks. I'm going to show you how to stop picking the wrong person. So here's the link for YouTube. I'm putting it over here. All right. It's in the comment section. Y'all, it's $10 a week. If you don't like it after 2 weeks, quit. You invested $20. All right. But for those people who know that I gotta fix up. I gotta become that $1 million house that I desire to be, so that I can attract $1 million buyer. And yeah, I use that analogy, but real talk though, for those of you who want to do something different, join the class. Hey, darling diva, the link I just sent the link in the text right here, and you can click that link and join. For those of you on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all you got to do is go up to my bio. You'll see my link tree where it says link tree, and then you'll see the first thing is the Just Ask Masterclass. $10. 10. I'll see you guys there. All right. And I think I'm going to do one more live tomorrow at some point. And then after that, I'll see the rest of y'all. I think we had about 15, 20 people join. And I don't care how many we have in there, because this is my ministry. This is not about followers. I don't care about clicks. What I care about are you. I care about your transformation. All right? All right, y'all. Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna do it. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all. Peace.